believe this, but you will see that the prophet is right again. They killed that boy. That's common sense. And I see a lot of black people are saying that that's racism. No, that's common sense. That's common sense. That boy called that boat, said that boat was being sunken, and then Cito never came to get the boat. Why? Because the boy's grandfather said, no, they all right. They don't need no help.
Real rock from the rock. An unusual musical happening in a most unusual place.
Yeah.
The state prison.
Yeah.
Big Bass Life with another informative video, man. Gary, Indiana. A lot of black YouTubers, a lot of content creators, period, haven't been so forthcoming and covering what's going on up there. 2 weeks without power. But this is not just about Gary, Indiana. This is more so about the condition of Black America, the conditions that we're in. Whether it's the Karmello Anthony case, the judge being recused, and then all of a sudden, Michael Shitty, I said that correct, denying a new trial. But also you have known YT people, Mayo Nation, taking out whole families, getting a whole new trial. Erroneous. Then you have some of our raccoons in our community. And you have some maybe posing as raccoons. Maybe they're not FBA, but they're in our sector, they're in our sections, and they're in this YouTube, and they're in the social media era, and they're laying their opinions. One said, sister, I can say this. Attractive, maybe. Yeah, quite attractive. But regardless of looks, once a raccoon, your looks mean nothing to us. We care nothing about looks. All we know is that you follow those people who want our demise and want things to happen to us. Therefore, we don't care. We just don't. So, what I attempt to do in this video here is to show you two sides of America. Because quite clearly, I've been in Karmello Anthony's shoes. Yes. Denied a fair trial. Not one black jury. One black juror on my jury pool, and there was a lot of black people in the pool to pull from. But at the end of the day, they have the power to strike out all black potential jurors, to make it an all Frosty the Snowman type juror. Anyway, I want to get into this video. Check this clip out, and I'll come back with my commentary.
This Kentucky grandmother, also a physician, offered to pick up her grandchild and take her grandchild to daycare. When the one of the parents of the child went to the daycare, the daycare said, hey, the baby was never dropped off. That's when they realized that she had left the baby in the car for 8 hours. The baby tragically passed away. But this is what I want to talk about with the two Americas. Look at the comment section. Look at here. Prayers for the family. There should be a human detector in all cars. Gosh, poor mom of the baby. This is devastating. Look, daycares should be required just as a precaution to contact the parents. What are we seeing? We're seeing white women having compassion for their people. Also, this Kentucky grandmother has not been charged. But let's compare this. Okay, y'all know I've been telling y'all about Deja Coleman out of Atlanta. This is a mom who working as a nurse's aide at a hospital. 3 kids who forgot her 1-year-old in the car. She has been charged with murder. Her lawyer had to go and beg the courts just to let her go to the funeral. They would not drop the charge, so that she could get a bond. So they had to go ask for her to be able to go to the funeral. They sent her to the funeral in an orange suit, shackled. She couldn't sit with her family. But look at the comments. Look what white women are saying. Absolutely not. You shouldn't have caused this death. Saying, oh, she shouldn't get the charged, dropped so that she could get a, bond and all that. Look, another person. She needs the death penalty. Look right here. She deserves exactly what they've charged her with. This is the two Americas. So you guys can miss me with this. You can miss me with the Clancy case, all of that. This is clearly the two Americas on display. One where white women have compassion for women that look like them. And when it's a black woman, they condemn them.
Let's look at something for a second. We have two different Americas. And if you're looking at the screen above, you're looking at Kyle Rittenhouse and Karmello Anthony, right? One, he went to a protest he did not live in a city. The other one was at a track meet. Of course, that's, he was scheduled to be. One was age 17 carrying a AR style rifle. And of course, Karmello had a simple knife, if you want to call it a knife. Now, this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, fatally shot 2 people and injured 1. And he could have had the potential of injuring more with his rifle. Now, Karmello killed 1 person in defense, in self-defense as his claim. Now, this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, didn't have a claim. It wasn't self-defense. So he raised over $586,940 from conservatives in his legal defense. When Karmello tried to raise, it was all kind of hooting and hollering about from conservatives to push the shutdown or seize his legal funds. Remember, he couldn't access his legal funds at one time. And also, he was acquitted. The judge was actually like his defense attorney in the case. And that's why a lot of times they decided not to televise these charges. Televise these cases. And look at the difference. He was free, but convicted of a murder and sentenced to 35 years. Now, I know a lot of the black attorneys and black people and black jurisprudence and all these people going to say, well, it was a body. Well, it was the same thing. It was 2 bodies, 3 people shot in Kyle Rittenhouse. And his people helped. See, things that they're not going to tell you, his people helped to get him across the border. With the guns, he wasn't even supposed to be having a gun. This brother had a knife. It's not illegal in the state of Texas to carry a knife. Okay, let's keep going. This white teen here, Kason Allen, let's look at it. Same situation. He stabbed a classmate to death in the school bathroom. He confessed to it, and it was on video, and he fled the scene, right? Not guilty of murder, not guilty of manslaughter, and they gave him the lowest possible charge, 10 years. 10 years. He can possibly be home in less than 2, right? Yeah, and they gave 35 years to Karmello Anthony. Now, you can sit here all day and play semantics about, well, he was black. He should have known, but he should have ran and this. No, we're going to show you there's 2 Americas. And the America we live in is not the America that we are privileged to, that we are privy to. It's almost like we're here, we built it, and guess what? We get to suffer the consequences. Check this out. As we go down the timeline, let's look at it. Very different sentences. You're looking at Kason Allen, 10 years. Murder. Jesus San Miguel, 30 years. 30 years. Plus 10 from San Antonio. Fight outside a restaurant where he eventually unalived a kid. Ricardo, 15 years. Gabriel Ruiz, 12 years. Hispanic kid. Stabbed to death a 16-year-old in the chest. And there's one more. I'm not putting up, Kason Allen, that was a different one. But it was one more where a kid was reportedly shot. Was pew-pewed in the back of the head. And these kids eventually got off on that. Got off. So, of course, it's 2 different Americas, but let's continue here.
and disorderly conduct through a media literacy lens and whose story the media chooses to center.
I was not just going after this kid just to go after him, because that was not my intention at all.
Addison says she was watching her brother get targeted.
So that video you saw is wild, but now listen to the interview that came out.
I'm seeing my son on the ground being attacked. This wasn't just a football play. This was him on the ground being physically attacked by this other player.
The fact that the perpetrator is being interviewed instead of the victim already shows you the framing of this story. But now listen to the words that you hear off the top.
1 minute clip. That's not what this story is about. It's about the other 20 minutes of this game and about what was going on this field, which prompted an otherwise fantastic little girl from a great family to enter onto that field.
So even though you're seeing that video, you're hearing that this is a fantastic girl from a great family. That serves to change how you look at this 16-year-old girl. And this is one way that traditional news media upholds white supremacy, because they are centering the story of this white perpetrator while essentially ignoring the black victim in this case. You have to ask, if race were switched in this situation, whether the story would be told the same, whether a black 16-year-old girl would have a whole news piece essentially rehabilitating her image after running out onto a field and tackling a kid reportedly 3 years younger than her. Tag your favorite independent journalists and information-based content creators. The more you're aware of how media can be used for manipulation, the better you can consume information. I'm Janae Norman. I used to do the news. Now I just report the facts and uncomfortable truths.
Yeah. Salute to that sister, man. And everybody like her. Any two ways, man, we see that as more than one side. Of course, black people that know, that have grew up in this country, we know that it's two Americas, man. We know what it is. It ain't the fact that we know what it is. It's just that a lot of people, our new raccoons and our new bootlicks, they come around and they act like this is something brand new. Like this is a playbook, like, you know, we supposed to just adhere and bow down to. You know, you can't defend yourself. You need to run. You know, white kid, he can get out there and shoot and pew and hit people and do what he do. But it's okay. It's okay. And I'm not going to even say that, oh, they say it's okay, but they understand that. But they don't understand you protecting yourself. Any two ways. I don't even deal with the raccoons and I don't deal with the bootlicks. Let them do what they do. Let them say what they say. I show them no attention. I used to. But any two ways, man, what's your comment? What do you think about this? Because, you know, this is ongoing. And the question is, your kids are next. I know we pray, and I'm not wishing it upon anyone. Of course, I want all of our kids to be, but Karmello Anthony is someone's child. They just woke up one day in this case, this thing just happened. You know, who's to say your child won't be pulled over by some racist cop? Who's to say your child won't be at school and encounter some little bully, some little racist bully? Or some bully that's bringing a pew-pew to school to try to take everybody out. Any two ways, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Somebody got to say this. Somebody got to tell these stories. And a lot of times it's not about clicks and views. I can care less, man. If it reach you, all praises to the Most High. If it don't reach you, all praises to the Most High. Any two ways, leave your comment, man. I like to hear from you. And as I say, I'm out. All right.